by Edward Litton, he describes a superior subterranean master race in the energy form called Vril, where they take a special elixir as an energy source. In the novel, these reptilian entities worship the black sun. The black sun symbol was an ancient religious symbol in which the Nazis inherited, along with the logo of the neo-Nazi flag, the SS. Where have we seen this before? These symbols have been around for thousands of years and are occult in nature, but they are just regurgitated through history because of the power and significance behind them. You could say the same thing about the swastika, yin and yang, the compass, the all-seeing eye. These are ancient symbols that represent the same thing. Even when you see the Freemason symbol, it is the square and compass which represents the architect's tools. And what is the G? It is the seventh letter of the alphabet. 7 represents completeness and perfection. 7 is the number of God. Part of what it means to be human is to learn to recognize these patterns and symbols. These symbols and patterns are hidden in plain sight, waiting for you to decode them for yourself. And one of the ways God gets you to recognize these symbols is through corruption. Without corruption and deceit, you would not wake up to anything. Corruption must exist for you to wake up and see what God wants you to see. The Vril Society was formed by a group of female psychic mediums led by the Thule Society leader, Maria Orsic. This inner circle of women claim they received communication from Aryan aliens living on Alpha Centauri. Allegedly, these aliens visited Earth and settled in Sumeria. The word Vril comes from the ancient Sumerian word God-like. The Vril Society emblem became the black sun, described as an infinite beam of light, invisible to the human eye, but exists only in antimatter. It is interesting to note that the black feathered sun looks like a lunar eclipse and a human eyeball. Maria Orsic was Hitler's medium, and with her help, the Nazis channeled information from this Aryan race and developed an interdimensional time travel machine, which had its first launch in 1939. I also discovered that the metaphysical tactics of the German Vril Society was the precursor to Project Stargate, which was a CIA operation using a secret U.S. Army unit to study men who could remote view onto deserts, mountains, and other geographical locations. The film, The Men Who Stare at Goats, is based on the declassified documents. What is really interesting about Maria Orsic's flying machine is that it correlates directly to Nikola Tesla's flying machine, which was also anti-gravity. When Tesla died in 1943, the FBI ordered the Office of Alien Property Custodian to seize Tesla's papers, even though he was an American citizen. The papers and items of Tesla's were then passed on to MIT professor John G. Trump, who happens to be Donald Trump's paternal uncle. What I find to be very strange is Julian Assange looks like he could be the son of John Trump, which would make him Donald Trump's cousin. John G. Trump said some of Tesla's plans and blueprints were alarming, but he knew it was his job to figure out how they worked. So the question is, what did he find out? Although the findings were never publicly released, many people speculate that Trump discovered how to use Nikola's anti-gravity time machine. What makes this theory even more bizarre is that a late 19th century author by the name of Ingersoll Lockwood, who happens to look exactly like Louis C.K., emerged out of the woodwork, and many articles were written about his books after Donald Trump was elected president in 2016. In the 1893 book titled Baron Trump's Marvelous Underground Journey, the story takes place with Baron Trump, an extremely wealthy young man who sets off on an adventure to Russia to track down an alternate dimension. As the master of all masters, a guy named Don guides him along the way, only to find himself back home at Castle Trump. The book's prequel, written in 1898, was titled Travels and the Adventures of Little Baron Trump and His Wonderful Dog Bulgar. Ingersoll Lockwood went on to write his dystopian novel called The Last President. The story starts in New York City, and the country is in a state of uproar after an election of a heavily opposed president. Mobs of anarchists and socialists fill the streets to plunder and demolish the homes of the rich who have wronged and oppressed them. In the book, the Fifth Avenue Hotel will be the first to feel the fury. Very strange that Trump Hotel is also on Fifth Avenue in New York. And what's really crazy is in the book, the president chooses a cabinet member whose name is Pence. And why is Mike Pence talking about human cloning? Is this the Mandela effect? Did these books really exist before? Did someone go back in time and create these books to mess with everybody? Or was the book written knowing that this stuff would happen in the future? It's just all too much. Donald Marshall spoke about Britney Spears quite a bit. In her music video, Break the Ice, it shows an animated version of herself breaking into a cloning center and destroying all the cloning tubes. On December 30th, 2004, Britney Spears made a surprise appearance at the radio station of LA's Kiss FM, where she independently released the demo of her new song, Mona Lisa. This song was supposed to be the single off her fifth album, Original Doll, but the album was never released. The original lyrics of Mona Lisa say, "She's the original, she's unforgettable, she wants you to know, she's been cloned." Why was the Original Doll album and this song never released? And now when you go to Google, the lyrics say, "She's been gone." B.O.B. the rapper backed up Donald Marshall's story. Before YouTube was censored, B.O.B. used to post videos about his cloning center experiences. B.O.B. and Donald both claimed, if you cannot remember your dreams, you are probably a clone. Here are some of B.O.B.'s tweets I saved from years ago. Tila Tequila claimed that she sold her soul to the cloning program for her reality show on MTV, A Shot of Love with Tila Tequila. Tila made the rounds on Conspiracy Podcast, discussing her experiences at the cloning center.
That's just fucking with my program, darling, Queen Elizabeth, and the pedophilia ring, and the cloning centers. That's right, darling, the cloning centers.
And talked about her relationship with Marshall. She used to go on rants on Twitter, for which she got banned. After she came out about this, she had a brain aneurysm in 2012. Donald Marshall and Tila Tequila both said Bernie Mac was trying to come forward about cloning, and that's why he died.
Hello, Bill Chupa here, and I'm just going to talk a little bit about what happened recently to me at cloning. And a little background is REM phase cloning is they take your consciousness while you sleep and put it in a clone in the cloning center. And as soon as you hit the REM phase of sleep, and you have to stay there until you wake up. They tell people a lot of different BS. It's the fifth dimension, seventh dimension, Nirvana, Shangri-La, a time stutter, singularity. They say that it's another dimension, or that it's lucid dreaming, or the astral plane. It's not. You're just in a cloning center, and they're using MK Ultra visual and audio effects to make you see what they want. Now, they've been doing this to me probably my whole life, but now they see me talking to Donald Marshall, and I go to the same cloning center he does now.
After 2012, other cloning blogs and Twitter accounts started popping up disclosing their experiences at the cloning center, backing up Donald's story, and expressing the fear that comes with exposing the cloning situation. Here are more tweets from celebrities about human cloning. And remember this weird video of Beyonce?
Beyonce died in the year 2000 and she was replaced by a clone. You remember that video with her at a basketball game and she was like, and she was going all crazy?
I remember that video, but like...
That ain't no human stuff, bro. That ain't no human... You seen George Bush lately?
What,
When Obama, I think it was like last year, and Michelle Obama had to control this fool because he was just going, he's just doing that.
So you saying clones is out here malfunctioning? Beyonce died in 2000?
Yeah.
How did she die?
Hey, man, they ain't gonna tell you if she's dead, and she's a clone, fool.
And remember when the country of Nigeria thought their president was a clone? And now we have the CRISPR guide to cloning mammals. And even Mary Tyler Moore was into cloning. And what about Paul McCartney? We all know the urban legend of Paul is dead and that he allegedly died in a car accident on November 9th, 1966. Did you know there is a man named John Holliday who lives at the real childhood home of Paul McCartney in Liverpool and looks exactly like the original Paul? Could this just be a strange coincidence? Did the real Paul really die? And if so, who is this guy? Some say this is William Campbell, who won a Paul McCartney lookalike contest. If you're a Beatles fan, you probably have always wondered why the band broke up after only 5 years. It is because of this man, Theodore Adorno. He was the director at Tavistock and wrote all of the Beatles' music. He died in 1969, the same year the band broke up. And if you have ever wondered how Michael Jackson was able to purchase the entire Beatles catalog, it is because Adorno's estate sold it to him. Here is Paul symbolically placed in a coffin-like box. Things are never what they seem. Speaking of Michael Jackson, I highly recommend listening to Freeman Fly's podcast episode with Dr. David Lewis Anderson discussing Michael Jackson and time travel. Did you know Michael Jackson was the first celebrity client for the company Clonaid? What is Clonaid? Clonaid is a Canadian company registered in the Bahamas that prides themselves on being the world's leading reproductive cloning facility. The premise of Clonaid was announced in 1997, and the company's intentions were to make advancements for human mortality and to allow homosexuals to produce a child. In 1997, it was announced that the first American couple was going to invest in Clonaid by paying $500,000 to have a baby. The couple's names have never been revealed, but there is speculation that it was Barack and Michelle Obama. And after Clonaid's announcement in 1997, Malia Ann Obama was born in 1998. And why have we never seen pregnant photos of Michelle? And this is random, but does anyone remember the 2013 Kardashian Christmas card where Bruce Jenner is trapped in a cloning tube? And now he looks exactly like Cindy Crawford.
I'm sorry, is there someone talking to you?